Okay, so good morning sa liwat, no? And we will now start, no? So we are on this lecture, no? And partly, no, I think we've mentioned this, but as a lesson, no? So we have work, energy conservation, and power, no, as our lesson. We understand that physics is basically, about work, about energy basically, no? So we understand that all the things that we are using, no, a lot of what we are using today, no, is made convenient and easy because of the energy that we harness from the environment, from nature, and eventually we convert it to other forms, no, and it now reaches our homes, no. We are now using it in our laptops, in our tiny gadgets, no, as we do our online thing, no. So these are all forms of energy that comes from one kind or form and eventually translated, no, to another, no. So the idea of transforming energy, no, is crucial, no, in our understanding of physics, no. I think na when we go to our second quarter, no, or I mean second semester, we will be handling or taking up, no, physics 2, and part of the idea there of waves, no, how we change energy into another form is because of its nature, no, that we can transfer it or transform it, no, because it's an energy, no, in a form of a wave, no. So anyway, now moving on, we will define work, no, on our day-to-day activity, no. So we have every day, our lives, we do activities, we have tasks to do. Your parents go to their work, no, drive to the place where they are working. Those individuals that do, no, a regular exercise, no, to maintain their health, no. So we can always think of that as a form or so, as some kind of a work, no. The assignments that you just answered, no. So maybe last night, no, and some of you who do that early this morning, no. So for other subjects, so you may also think of that as a kind of a work, no. But how do we basically describe work, no, when we go into physics, no? So when we have the strict definition of physics, how does it vary, no, when we define it? So is the task that we do, is the washing of the dishes, no, the plates, no, after you eat, no? So is it the same work that we are now referring to when we go into physics, no? So those are things that we have to define, no, quite well, no. So are they one and the same thing, no? Now when we go into physics, basically, now we understand that it has a strict definition, no? And we will denote, by the way, work here now as a notation with W sub k, no. So W sub k is our symbol, no, or our variable for work, no. We will distinguish it from weight because weight is merely indicated by W, no. This one has a subscript K, no. Now we will define it, no, strictly with the product of a force and multiplied by some kind of a displacement or distance, no. So the product of the distance and the force, no, that is applied on this box will now constitute our work, no? So the distance has to be horizontal, the force has to be moving horizontally as well, no? So they are moving in the same direction, no? Now if you happen to move this in a rather, no, different angle, no, like you let force there now be pulled, no, a little bit higher than the horizontal, creating an angle, then you may define it with another kind of work value, no? And so much so when we make the force move perpendicular or 90 degrees with the distance, then in that case, no, you may end with no work at all, no, zero work, no. So there are times when we no, let the force here, no, move in a different direction than the distance, no. So again, no, one way to know that there's no work done is when the force is perpendicular to the distance moved, no? Now, a boy holding a 20 Newton, no, weight, no, which is at rest, no, does no work on that particular weight, no. So the weight there in his hand, no, maybe he'll do that, no, or use that when he exercises, no. But when he simply holds it like this, no, in this picture, no work is done, no, because there's no distance covered by that weight, no? Even though there's a value, no, for a force to keep it in that place, but since there's no distance covered, then no work is done, no? Now, similarly, a man walking, no, at a constant horizontal velocity, no, carrying a bag, no? So the bag is being lifted up, no? So he holds the bag, no, and the force that he applies is upward, no, but he walks horizontally, no? So if he walks horizontally, but no, he is lifting the bag up, no, then the force is perpendicular to the distance, and therefore now we can also say that in this case, no work is done on this bag, no, that he's carrying, no? Okay, now when the force that we are exerting, no, or maybe a tension that we apply on our object, no, happens to form an angle with the horizontal line, no? So the angle form is known as theta, no, or symbolized with a letter beta, no? That we have to get what do you call that? The component, no, of that force, no? And usually the component that will resemble or will move in the same fashion as the distance, which is horizontal, is the horizontal component fx also, no? And we understand that if we will solve for the horizontal component or the x component, we always solve it in terms of cosine of the angle, no? So F, no, which is the force, multiplied by the cosine of the angle theta, multiplied now by the distance covered by this object, constitute our, no, our value for the work done on the object, no? So this is the work done on the box, no, by somebody else, no? So the box does not do any work to itself, no? So somebody does the work on the bag, no? On the box, no? Now, what are our units of work? Now, there are two units of work that we will mention here. One is erg, and another is the more common one, which is called Newton, no? So if work is force times distance, then probably the force that you'll have now can be expressed in a unit called dyne, no? And the distance covered is in centimeter. So if the unit is in centimeter now, so that's part of what we call the CGS system, or the centimeter gram second system, no? And the unit of our force when we multiply the force dynes with centimeter is an erg, no? An erg again is a very small quantity, so we seldom use it, no? Although it can be used, no, but seldom do we use the value erg, no? So if we think of it now, that's thinking like a money, no, that is 10,000 centavos, no? So if you have 10,000 centavos, how do you understand 10,000 centavos, no? So again, no, it sounds very big, no, but in reality, no, it's not really, no, a significant money, no? So that is something, no, that we can think of erg, no? It's a quantity that, or it's a unit, no, that expresses a huge numeric value, but in fact, no, in reality, it's very small, no? Now, Newton is also another, but it's part of the meter kilogram second unit, no? And again, no, MKS, if you multiply meter with Newton as a force, then you end up with a joule, no? A joule, or big letter J, no, is our symbol for joule, no? Do you understand? No? Are you following me? We have again, no, joule in honor of a certain physicist, no, James Prescott Joule. I think Joule built an equipment, no, or maybe not to illustrate his idea, no, he builds actually a prototype, no, and because of this device that happens to steer, no, so there's a pulley, I think, and some kind of cable, no, that moves and steers, no, that he was able to relate, no, the distance moved by a certain object, no, to the heat that it can generate, no. So there's even a notion, guys, no, that out of that experiment, probably, no, that if we will keep on steering our if we steer, no, the cup, no, or say you don't want to boil water, no, but what you will do is just to steer the water in a glass, no, that by the steering process there, no, you can make it boil, no? According to a theory or a concept, no? But as to the question as how many steers does it require, no, for you to boil it is another question, no? So maybe it will take, no, a long time before you can boil it. But the point is, no, you can heat up, no, the water there, no, by simply stirring it, no. So something, no, that generates another form of energy when we do, no, apply work, no, on something, no? So again, no, the units of work is again erg and joule, no? Now here's a sample problem, no, that will allow us to have, no, a concrete idea of what work is, no? So a person pulls an 80 kilogram, no? So this is our crate, no, our box. So its weight is of course downward, no? So if you multiply 80 kilograms with gravity, then you'll get your weight there, no? Now we were able to move this, no, a distance of 20 meters, no, horizontally, maybe from left to right, no? And the angle that we have now, when we pull the cable probably, no, so we attach a cable rope, no, and we let it form an angle of 30 degrees, no? There are many reasons why we do that, no? Why do we have to form an angle there, no? But let's not go there, no? So somehow, if we will get now the force that makes this move horizontally, we know that that's the x component of the force, no? So the Fx, no, or the x component of F is responsible for the horizontal motion, no? The vertical component, no, does not make this move horizontally. So therefore, we will not consider Fy, no? So therefore, Fx times the distance will now be our work done on the object, no? So if we will get the force that we apply here, since this is 150 newtons, no, the tension that is exerted on the rope, so multiply that with the cosine of its angle 30 degrees times a distance of 20 meters, no? So it moves on the floor with 20 meters, no? So therefore, our work is this product, no? So it's 2,598 joules, no, of work that we now do, no, on the crate or on the box, no? So the mass there now does not have any bearing unless we will consider friction, no? So if we will consider the frictional force, then you will include the computation of our mass, no? Okay, so basically the assumption above is that there's no friction, no? Because there was no mention also of the coefficient of friction, no? Although we've studied friction already, no? Now, what about in lifting an object, no? So we lift an object upward, no? How much work is done there, no? So of course, what we overcome when we lift it is the weight of the object, no? So if you will get the weight and multiply it with the distance you move it up or the height, no, then you will also get the work done on this object, no, when we overcome gravity, no? So it's the product again of mgh, no? And mgh is some sort of an expression on energy, no? And there's a form of energy that we call as potential energy, no, which we'll probably encounter later on, no? So in the overcoming gravity, no, so this is the work done, no? Multiplying the weight of the body by the height with which you lift the object, no? Now here's an example, no, or an illustration, no? So the height is of course vertical. The weight is also a vertical force, no? So therefore they are in the same, no? They are working in the same line, no, or in the same direction. So therefore we can multiply them and end up now with a value that's not zero, no? The only work that is zero is when we move it, no, perpendicular to each other. If the weight is vertical and we move this horizontally, in that case, no, there would be no work done on our object, no? Okay, how much work is done, no, in lifting a 60 kilogram cement bag, no, to the 6th floor, no? So the 6th floor ko na is around 50 meters. So therefore, all we need is to get the weight, no, of the cement bag and no, multiply it by its height, no? So therefore, we will end up with this value, 29,400 joule, no? Now again, joule is Newton meter But I think now it's best to just simply call it with one letter of unit, no? Big letter J. No? So that's number one. No? So it's substitution and a multiplication process. No? An object is lifted vertically to a height of 2 meters. If the object weighs 120 newtons, so the weight is already indicated, how much work is done in lifting it? No? So this is just a direct multiplication. So weight times the height. No? So we don't have to solve mg anymore because mass and gravity are not indicated anymore. No? So since the weight is eventually stated, then we substitute it as the value of mg. No? Now energy is the one that we need for us to do work. No? In everything that we do, guys, now we need always energy. We eat before we go to work. No? What's the purpose? So that you will not faint. No? Hindi ka na malipong. No? I remembered one time I have this early morning class. No? Or that was an exam day. No? And I have this student probably who did not eat anything. So we were on the third floor of the engineering building at the time. Third floor or fourth floor. No? And I saw this student who is already very pale. No? Her face is so white already, and she's telling me that she cannot see anything anymore. No? While she takes and sits in her table and in her chair, no? She does not see anything. No? It's all black. No? So again, staying at the fifth floor or fourth floor of the engineering building, we just waited until she eventually recovers, and I brought her to the infirmary, to the clinic. No? So again, nothing about eating. No? So you eat before you do strenuous activity. No? So energy is described as the capacity to do work. No? So we provide fuel to our car so that it will run. No? Without that fuel, it will Okay, just a minute. No? Was I gone a long time, guys?
Okay man, sir. Dua lang ka minutes. Isa ka minutos lang, sir. Na doon, sir.
Okay. So something was wrong with my Zoom. Okay, so anyway, so we have this energy now that comes in many forms. So the nuclear energy is, of course, we harness it from the atom. No? So for those that emits radiation, radioactive materials, they produce so much heat now when you combine it with other materials to bombard its atoms. No? And when this immense energy is released, either by fission or by fusion, then we harness its energy by using maybe water, boiling the water and making it into a very powerful steam, pressurized steam, and it will drive some kind of a turbine. So again, the conversion of our electrical energy from nuclear to electrical energy, it has to use some kind of a system there. So you have to introduce an energy to the system to probably make it useful. So we have two types: potential energy, or we can call it PE, and KE, which is kinetic energy. So kinetic energy is a kind of energy that is already in motion. So energy in motion, described as kinetic energy. Now the stored or the energy at rest, as they say, and it is affected basically by the height, is known as the PE, or the potential energy. Okay, now here is our hammer, guys. So if the hammer is simply resting on a table or on top of the floor, then it cannot do anything. The hammer cannot perform anything that you want it to do by itself. So if you put the nails and the hammer side by side, nothing will happen to the nails. But for you to drive the nail into the wood, fasten it into the wood, then you have to lift the hammer up. No? So by lifting the hammer, you change its height. No? And therefore, by the change of its height, you can now introduce energy to the hammer. No? We call the energy that is now transferred to the hammer as the potential energy. No? And that time, now when the hammer is at a particular height, then it can now you can now move it down and change it from potential to kinetic, and therefore drive the nail into the wood. No? So again, now the transformation of energy. So we provide an energy input or work input to the hammer, and therefore the hammer does some work, or we call it as a work output. No? So there's an output work whenever we introduce work first to the hammer. No? So the hammer, you can think of the hammer as a machine. No? So any machine cannot do anything, no, unless you give it some kind of an input work. No? So, but usually the output work done by a machine is always lesser than the work input. You have to give it with more input work, no, for it to produce, no, a greater output. No? For example, no, I'm going to teach you for 1 hour, no, physics. Can you also, no, learn everything I tell you in an hour? Anybody? Can you recall everything that I said? No, teach you physics for 1 or 2 hours. How many of you are?
Sir, hindi tanan.
So you'll realize.
May ma-learn, sir, pero hindi tanan, sir.
Oh, you'll realize that your output will never be equal to the input I give you, no? So there will always be things that you will not remember, no? Di ba? Tama. So amo na, no? Sa aton man nga machine, not everything that we provide to the device, no, is changed, no, useful into useful work, no? Okay, so just a moment, guys. Now, okay. So anyway, now let me share once again the screen. No? Okay, so we are here now a while ago, and again, no, that's with the hammer, guys. So first there, no, potential energy is mgh, similar to our work done in overcoming friction, overcoming gravity. No? Okay, so a 30-kilogram box is lifted to a height of 5 meters above the ground. No? So 5 meters, then the mass. No? So if you'll multiply including gravity, then we'll get the potential energy. No? So again, you'll notice that if potential energy is a factor affected by height, then greater height means greater potential energy. No? So the unit of our energy and work, no, are the same. No? So joule, no, it will end up with a unit called joule as well. No? Now here is our 60-kilogram object, no, is pulled up the plane. No? So if we'll consider the potential energy, then all that we will need is this vertical distance. No? So if we will transfer it from the ground to the top of the plane, no, then the height here of the plane at the highest point is a factor or a unit, no, of the hypotenuse, no, which is the length, no, times the sine of its angle. No? So this opposite distance, this opposite side of this right triangle, no, in terms of its angle, is the length, no, of the plane here, na 4 times the sine of 30 degrees, no, which is basically 2. No? That's 2 meters now. And this height of 2 meters multiplied by the weight, no, which is 60 times 9.8, no, which is now 585. So the product of the weight and the height, no, is now our work called, or energy, no, potential energy called, which is equals to 1,170 joules. No? Okay, so again, no, so this is merely weight times height, no, my expression. No? But you have to find the opposite side called height there, no, for the right triangle. No? Now, another one is the energy called kinetic energy, no, which is in terms of the square of the velocity of the object. No? So if the object here started with a 0 initial velocity, then its final velocity, no, will be the only one that will matter. No? So therefore, the work is half of the mass times the square of its velocity. No? So that's how we get the kinetic energy. So now if the velocity here doubles, you'll notice that our kinetic energy will increase, no, 4 times. No? So it's not a direct proportion. No? So in terms of the velocity and the kinetic energy, the value of the kinetic energy now is in terms of the square of the velocity. So doubling the velocity increases kinetic energy 4 times. Tripling the velocity will now increase the kinetic energy 9 times. No? So it's not a one-to-one relationship. No? So it's a squared quantity. No? So please remember that now when we relate the velocity with the kinetic energy. No? Not so with potential. No? So potential energy, the height and the potential energy are directly proportional. No? Okay, find the kinetic energy of an 80 kilogram object, no, which is traveling at a velocity of 30 meters per second. So again, no? So therefore we get half of our 80 kilograms times the square of 30. No? So this is now 900 times 40. No? So more or less meron ka 36,000 joule, no, of 36,000 joules of energy. No? Now sometimes joules can be, and you can remove the rest of the 3 zeros here by adding a kilojoule, no, by changing the 3 zeros there to K. No? So you increase the unit there now by adding na some prefixes. No? So kJ or kilojoule, no, can be replaced, no, with the 36,000. No? Okay, now when we hold a particular object, no, at a particular height and release it, now you'll notice that from an initial height, no, you can notice that as it goes down, its potential energy is changed into kinetic. No? So once it moves, no? So just like our activity on free falling body, first we hold this ball probably, no, at this height, and then since it's not moving, then we can probably say that what it has is potential energy. But as soon as we remove our hand or we remove our grip from the ball, no, and let this fall by virtue of gravity, then this one now will start to accelerate downward. No? So from 0 velocity, it will now increase its speed as it reaches the ground. No? So we will now see a change, no, or a transformation of the potential energy into kinetic energy. No? Now, the highest kinetic energy will be at the bottom. No? The highest potential energy or the maximum potential energy is at the top. No? However, we realize that if we will account for all the energies that was transformed, the energy simply changes form. No? But there's no energy that is either added or removed here. No? So in one definition, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. No? But it can only be transformed from one form to another. No? So if there's no air friction here, then there would be less heat, or there's no heat that is created now in its falling. No? But if you'll consider the air there, then there would be some heat that is now translated in the air. Therefore, there's energy losses here, no, as it goes down. And probably now we cannot say that the potential energy at the top will be the same kinetic energy at the bottom. No? That is if there are energy losses along the way. No? But if there's no air friction and all the rest of the energies are not present, no, then we can say that the maximum potential energy is just equals to the maximum kinetic energy at the ground. No? Now, a stone weighing 2 kilograms is dropped, no? But this is a very big stone, probably. No? It's a 2 kilogram stone. No? So, 2 kilogram stone, so I think that's a rock already. No? It's dropped from rest, no? From a height of 50 meters. No? So, this is all the way 50 meters. No? Now, we are going to find the potential energy, no? Of the rock, no? After falling for 2 seconds. No? So after falling for 2 seconds, this will no longer be 50. No? So this is the drop already. So if 50 minus this drop, then you can consider the height. No? Yan, ding height na nabilin niya. No? So therefore, amo na aton ko, no? How much was the drop here? No? So that's what we need, no? To find the potential energy. No? Now, if we can also find the final velocity at this point, no? So the velocity of the object at this point, then we can also calculate the kinetic energy at that particular point. So initially, it is starting from 0 velocity, but up to the 2 second